there's tough. Then there's Monkey D. Luffy, a pirate who's never flashed a hint of weakness and has never feared a single soul prowling the Grand Line. The moment he drops the grin, dials up gear second, and decides he's done playing nice, kings lose their crowns, cyborgs fold like tin, and even emperors feel the ground tilt beneath them. Tonight, we're diving into that exact turning point. The instant Luffy lets the limits fall away and reminds the world that the only thing more dangerous than his power is his refusal to back down from anyone. Top 10 of the One Piece anime. Remember when a single Pacifista almost wiped the Straw Hats off the map? 2 years later, that same chrome-plated nightmare meets Luffy again on Sabaody, and lasts exactly one punch. Marines scramble as Sentomaru barks. PX5, eliminate the target. The hulking cyborg readies its laser. Every pirate in the grove bracing for the beam that once forced Luffy's crew to flee for their lives. But this time Luffy just exhales, steam curling around his shoulders as gear second ignites. In a blur he drives a jet pistol straight through the Pacifista's faceplate, caving the skull like a soda can. Circuit spark, metal groans, and PX5 collapses in a smoking heap while Sentomaru stands slack-jawed. The crowd that once feared the government's mechanical executioner realizes the real nightmare is the grinning kid in the straw hat. Because if yesterday's boss breaks in a heartbeat, what chance does a Yonko have when Luffy's path is blocked? 9. Shoot down that flag.
What happened? Looks like cannon fire from one of our ships.
It was Vice Admiral Sakazuki.
When you set fire to the world government's banner, you're not just burning cloth. You're tossing a match onto every admiral's ego. On the courthouse roof of Eni's lobby, Nico Robin stands in chains, convinced she's a burden. Marines sneer from every tower, the giant symbol of global authority snapping in the wind above them. Luffy raises a finger, not even looking at the enemy lines, and gives one quiet order to King: shoot that flag. A single Firebird star arcs across the sky, punches through the emblem, and blooms into an orange inferno. In that instant, the plaza falls silent. Spandam shrieks, vice admirals freeze, and thousands of soldiers realize the Straw Hats have just declared war on the entire planet. Without blinking, Robin's eyes flood with tears. Her crew just bet their lives on her dream. And as the flag crackles to ash, Luffy cocks his straw hat and roars back at the government. Bring the whole world. See if I care. 8th day of God. Hit the floor. Kami's chained on the auction block. A pistol is pressed to Hatchin's head, and the room is suffocating under the smug silence of the celestial dragons. Nobles so high they shoot commoners for sport. Every pirate present bows their head, terrified of the consequences that follow the slightest act of defiance. Everyone except the kid in the straw hat. Luffy shoulders past bounty hunters and nobles alike, rage boiling but voice steady. The instant St. Charlos fires that single, callous bullet into Hatchin, the air cracks. Luffy vanishes in a blur. Gear second flames licking his skin, and the next heartbeat delivers the most expensive right hook in history. Charlos's jeweled helmet caves, the untouchable, descends face first into marble, and Sabaody's auction hall erupts into chaos. In that one punch, centuries of manufactured fear shatter. Marines sprint for the transponders, pirates gasp in disbelief, and the world government receives a blunt message: Luffy fears no title, no bloodline, and certainly no so-called god. The auction house floor is still vibrating when the narrator's voice might as well whisper, and this, folks, is how you start a war. 7-2, blood beats sand.
You think that putting just your life on the line is enough to stop this from happening? What, Luffy?
Sweltering in Alabasta's buried ruins, and Crocodile reclines on a crumbling throne, certain no fist can touch his shifting sand. Luffy staggers in, parched, bleeding, but still grinning. Every punch slices harmlessly through the warlord's Loja body until a single red droplet lands on Luffy's knuckle. He pauses, smears his own blood across both hands, and the next uppercut detonates like cannon fire. A sand can't scatter liquid. Crocodile's jaw absorbs the full force as his sunglasses splinter and the ceiling shakes. In that heartbeat, the desert tyrant learns the Straw Hat Kid will rewrite physics itself before ever bowing. Outside, rain finally breaks a 3-year drought, because even the sky knows a rain just ended. 6th, Thor Elephant Gun reforges a legend. Dust swirls through Dressrosa Corridor Coliseum as 2 titans remain in block siege. Don Chinjo, the drill-headed relic who once split continents, and a gladiator calling himself Lucy. Bruised but grinning, Luffy pumps gear third, haki crackling in black streaks across an enormous fist. Chinjo roars, charging with a head hardened by decades of rage, ready to skewer anything in his path. The collision detonates like thundered. Luffy's Thor Elephant Gum smashes straight down, flattening the arena floor, and, miraculously, pops Chinjoid's skull back to its legendary point. The giant tumbles sky high, tears of relief mixing with pain as he finally feels whole again. In the stunned silence that follows, the audience realizes they've just witnessed a punch so mighty it fixed history before it finished a foe, a flex only Luffy could pull off. 5 for escape from hell itself.
Don't beat up, straw boy!
Impel Down was designed as a one-way trip. 6 nightmare levels of venom, blades, and despair. Magellan's poison had already melted half of Luffy's insides, yet the moment the hormone boost kicks in, he charges up the prison faster than the alarms can ring. Cells burst open behind him. Crocodile Jimby, Ivankov Evan Buggy, all scrambling to keep pace with the straw hat blur that refuses to die. Magellan floods corridors with Hydra venom, guards seal iron gates, but Luffy's shoulder checks through every blockade, hurling prisoners upward like a human tidal wave. By the time they reach the surface, a riot of 300 cutthroats is following one half-poisoned captain who's too busy laughing to notice the burns on his skin. The final gate looms steel, colossal, impossible. Until Bon Clay slams the release and salutes. Warships open fire. Luffy roars. FUL's spine-head grin, and with a blood-stained grin, leads the single greatest jailbreak in history straight into the open sea. Hell never had an exit until Monkey D. Luffy punched one through its ceiling. Fort 11 hours to shatter perfection. Deep inside the kaleidoscopic mirror world, Katakuri moves like a prophecy made flesh. Every strike foreseen, every dodge effortless. For 11 relentless hours his trident cracks tiles and futures alike, while Luffy bleeds, rises and bleeds again. Steam scorches the air as Gear 4th shifts into Snakeman, fists ricocheting faster than sight. Still, Katakuri's observation hockey reads each coil of rubber like an open book. Then fatigue, barely perceptible, flickers across the sweet commander's perfect face. Luff smiles through swollen eyes, letting instinct trump prediction, and lands a jet culverin that slams Katakuri upside down into the candy floor, fracturing both the Mochi Arena and the myth of his invincibility. Katakuri staggers, removes his scarf, and for the first time shows the world the scar he hidest, imperfection. The final exchange is a roar of willpower, haki clashing like thunder until both warriors crash, breathless. Katakuri falls first, but before darkness claims him he stands tall enough to salute the man who refused to break. In that silent gesture, undefeated prestige yields to hard-earned respect, and a new Emperor's shadow stretches across whole Cake Island. 3. Rage punches a dragon.
And I'll just have to stop him!
I've found them. They're tucked away.
Kato's azure dragon form coils above Wano like a living storm, his blast breath having just erased Odin's castle. And so Luffy believes every friend inside it. The straw hat quivers in Luffy's clenched fist for half a heartbeat, then all restraint snaps. He rockets skyward on rubber-bound fury, Gear 3rd swelling around an arm blackened with advanced Busashoku. Villagers below swear the moon disappears behind the colossal elephant gun before it detonates against Kaido's skull. Scales shatter, the dragon's eye whites out, and the Yonko who's mocked death for 2 decades is driven face first into his own capital. The ground quakes, sake barrels split, and for the first time in Wano someone makes the beast acknowledge pain. As dust settles, Luffy doesn't wait for applause. He's already cocking another fist, ready to remind a so-called immortal what fear tastes like. 2 to 2 emperors, one afterthought.
Not someday!
Lightning flickers over Onagashima's rooftop, spotlighting 2 living legends. Kaido, the beast who can't die, and Big Mom, the emperor who devours nations. Their combined aura bends the air itself, yet the kid who just arrived doesn't even look at them. Luffy strides past the monsters like they're furniture, kneels beside the fallen scabbards, and murmurs an apology for being late. Kaido grunts, amused. Big Mom cackles about the rookie's arrogance. Luffy stands, voice low, eyes blazing, and asks Law to warp his allies to safety. Kaido swings his kanabo in a casual test of fear, but the blow slides through empty air as Luffy leaps sky high. Gear 3rd balloons around an arm drenched in advanced hockey. Flames coil along rubber as if honoring Odin's will. Gomu not Red Rock! The fist lands like a meteor. Scales cook, thunder cracks across the skull of a creature called Invincible, and the rooftop shakes under Kaido's stun collapse. Big Mom's grin freezes, disbelief painting her face. The upstart just made a dragon scream. Luffy lands softly, hat shadowing a smile that promises worse, and finally turns to the emperors with a single sentence. I'm the one who'll surpass you both. In that heartbeat the balance of power flips. 2 rulers realize they've been demoted to obstacles on one boy's path. One, the sun god's fist splits the sky. Kayano has crushed Luffy to pulp, smoke coils from the shattered rooftop, and Wano's hope flickers like a dying candle, until a heartbeat starts to drum. Doomed a doom, Luffy rises laughing, hair snow white, eyes blazing with childlike glee. Gear 5 turns rubber into divine cartoon law. The ground ripples under his bare feet as he grabs thunder itself, twirls it like a lasso, and flings lightning back at the dragon who once called himself invincible. But the true flex is yet to come. Luffy inhales, muscles balloon, and an arm swells beyond imagination. So huge it eclipses the full moon. Coated in conqueror's hockey so dense it crackles purple, the Bajrang Jun descends, slows destiny, unstoppable as dawn. Kaido roars, ignites his own magma-charged strike, but the fists collide and the island quakes. In the silence that follows, the Yonko plummets through flaming bedrock, vanishing beneath Wana's crust like a bad dream finally waking. Above, Luffy hovers, silhouette framed by sunrise, heartbeats still pounding those drums of liberation. In that instant the world beholds its freest man. An emperor crowned not by lineage or fear, but by ladder powerful enough to break a dragon in half.